Pastor, there's signs in the heavens, and the blood moon, the blue blood moon. What does that mean to you?
I'm not nearly as familiar with that as others are, but I do know that the scriptures speak of the fact that there will be signs in the heavens, and I know that there are scriptures that speak about in the moon and the sun and the stars and the various things that will happen. But the bottom line is there's so many prophetic convergences that are occurring during the times of the Shemitah year, the Jubilee year. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and how that ties into the rebirth of Israel, the 70th anniversary, the Jubilee year of, and then Jerusalem is declared capital, and then the blood moons and the blue blood. You know, how do you say it 3 times? The blue blood moons.
There you go.
And the super,
super blue blood moons.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not. I mean, any one of these things are pretty astounding things, but when you look at them together and the convergence of these things, and then what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on with the convergence of nations. Ezekiel 38 speaks of an alignment of nations that will begin to take place in the last days after Israel has come back to the land, and we're the first generation to see that happen. And that alignment of nations is not only is it beginning to happen, but Orthodox Jewish rabbis in Israel have documented. They're writing about it. They're astounded. They're saying, oh my gosh, look at the times in which we're living. So when you put it all together, and then the beautiful blue blood moon. Yep. I think I said that right. Maybe I should say that in Spanish. It might be easier.
It might be easier.
But anyway.
What times are we living in according to the scriptures right now in 2018?
Yeah. Well, and I say this often. Please forgive me if you've heard me say it before, but I want to say it again to the audience. We are living in the most prophetic time since the first coming of Jesus Christ. Since the first coming of Jesus Christ. I mean, the first coming of Jesus Christ, that was the huge explosion of the first big explosion, prophetic explosion. I call it the first boom of prophecy. It was all the way back in Genesis. It started prophesying the coming of the Christ. The Christ is coming to begin the restoration of all things, to set it right. And so that boom happened 2,000 years ago. Of course, the birth of the church, another big boom 50 days later. But then the next big boom of prophecy, because there are dozens of scriptures that spoke of in the last days the geographical Israel would return. And God's people would begin to pour into the land on the wings of eagles. Well, you know, that seemed like awfully picturesque language, metaphorical language, but how could the writers have known in those days that there would actually be such a thing as an airplane, as jet airplanes, flying through the air with hundreds and hundreds of people on each one and bringing millions of people into the land? I mean, on the wings of eagles, literally. I mean, it's just astounding to think of. We're the first historical generation. We're the only generation on the planet to have ever seen that big boom of prophecy with Israel coming back. And it's only been 70 years this year.